Thank you for choosing us this afternoon. Bringing you this week's edition of Bophelong is myself, William Mulebati. A warm welcome to you. A modern-day career woman is constantly working towards striking a balance between the personal life and the professional life. But what if she was born to be a leader in the business sector and everyone around her encouraged her to pursue what she feels was a calling? Well, that's what Simodisa told us in a chat we had with her shortly after she returned from the World Economic Forum held in Davos last month. Here is the first bit of our chat with her.
As we rise, we have to pick everybody else, and young people have the responsibility of being revolutionaries in this revolution.
Before power suits and running a successful business, Simodisa was just a girl growing up in the rural Free State.
I lived most of my life in Kwakwa in the Free State. That's where most of my family is, grandmother, aunties, cousins. So when I say home, I say Kitswa Kwakwa. I'm coming from the Free State. And then we moved to Bloemfontein, in 1994, when now black people were allowed to live in suburbs and go to multiracial schools. So we had the opportunity to do that.
Growing up, Simodisa wasn't part of the popular circles in school, but everybody knew her.
In primary school, I was one of the prefects, and at primary school, what do you know? But already people could see my leadership ability. And then in high school, I was a deputy vice, head girl. I was drama captain. I was, head of my house. So there was something that people saw in me. And I have a sense that it's just what I was born into. I think I'm a born leader. And over time, I've come to then refine those qualities of a leader. I'm very self-driven, hardworking. I'm a passionate person, compassionate as well. I'm very good with people. If anybody was to ask me, what are you good at? I would say I'm good with people. People have a sense of trust. They can trust me. Have a sense of they can rely on me. So those are, I suppose, qualities that, are part of being a leader.
Her parents mirrored a life driven by hard work.
Dad, he's an academic, in the medical profession. Mom, she's an accountant by training. However, she's an entrepreneur. Growing up, mom, she is a trained accountant, but she started her own tax consulting company, to help small businesses in the farming, because we lived in Kwakwa, so there are lots of farmers. So she helped a lot of small farmers, small-scale farmers.
With career-oriented parents, she was encouraged to dream big and work towards good grades in school so that she can qualify for those rare opportunities in the job market.
I went to university at Wits University and I studied a BCom degree. And after studying my BCom degree, I then had an opportunity to work as an intern at one of the big investment banks called Investec. And essentially that's where everything started. However, I only lasted in the investment banking space 2 years, because at that point, that's when I realized that I'm not the employee type person.
Her short stint at investment banking lasted for 2 years before she came to a realization that she wasn't cut out to be an employee.
When I talked to my former bosses, whom I engage with now, they were like, well, we could tell that you are different because you're an intern, you're here for 2 months and you're already asking for business cards. You want to have your own business cards. And as an intern, it's like, why would she want her own business card? So already I was business-minded. I was never necessarily comfortable with process, coming in at 9 o'clock and leaving at 5 o'clock.
And so it was. She left the world of investment and ventured into entrepreneurship.
The thought of staying at the bank was more frightful than the thought of, leaving into the unknown. And when I left, I did not leave wanting to go to the next bank, because it's Investec, and next door to it, it's Rand Merchant Bank. So I didn't want to go now get a job next door. So I literally, I told my mom that this is a situation, I'm not happy, I'm leaving this place. Parents were a bit worried because they're like, oh, Matsi, Johannesburg, you can't be there without a job. It's a very dangerous place for a young woman like yourself, and what are you going to do with your life? And I'm like, Mom, I really don't know what to do. But then my mom said, well, I have this company, Emerge, and you can join me if, you don't have any other options, or if you would like to work with small businesses and help me grow this company. So that for me was more appealing. When I arrived at home, after I left Johannesburg, I actually met my first client. I met a lady who worked for the University of the Free State in the entrepreneurship division. And she told me about what she does. I thought, oh, this is interesting. This is what my mom is doing. We're working with small businesses in the Free State. And then she said, well, there is a Professor Johan van Zyl that, he's the head of this unit of entrepreneurship. And I think, you should engage with him. But at the back of her mind, she was like, why did you, wonderful young bright woman, leave Johannesburg? Like people like us who come from the Free State are all wanting to go to Johannesburg and make it big there. And you decided to pack your bags and come back home, which is where we're trying to escape from. But I just told her that, I'm looking for more in my life. I'm looking beyond what it is that I had. So meeting her introduced me to Johan van Zyl, who then happened to be my first client, because he was saying that, wow, nice to meet you. I have secured some funding from the Netherlands. They're wanting me to support small businesses in the rural Free State.
Matshidiso was certain that her journey in the business sector would be a smooth one, but she soon learned that fate had other plans for her. We chat to her about this and more after the short break.
Children's rights and health are a priority in the journey of good health.
All children should have access to adequate health care, not only curative but preventative as well.
How to identify ADHD on children.
ADHD is a childhood disorder which manifests with the symptoms of hyperactivity, impulsivity, and or inattention.
Is breastfeeding still a vital nutrition to babies even today?
Breastfeeding for the first 6 months of life is absolutely crucial.
Catch Health Talk with Dr. Sello Mutawung every Saturday from 9 till 10 a.m.
Welcome back. Matshidiso's confidence and trust in her own instincts propelled her to make a decision that, looking back at it now, she couldn't be happier. Let's continue our conversation with her. Ever since she was a little girl, Matshidiso Modise assumed leadership roles. When she entered into the job market, it became apparent that she was meant to lead in the business sector. So she left the world of investment banking and ventured into business with her mother.
I told my mom, we have to kind of capitalize on the fact that big companies have to support small businesses and train them. Why don't we play that role of training and supporting and mentoring and linking and all of that? So that's the value that I added into, the organization.
While working with her mother, she discovered that she was interested in working full-time to develop small businesses. So she started her first business.
So Simodisa, it's an industry association for entrepreneurs by entrepreneurs. We do advocacy work, with the public and the private sector. So we look at policy review and policy around developing small businesses in South Africa. And then we would do policy recommendations to the government saying, guys, this is not working because this is how it's stifling and challenging entrepreneurs. So there's regular engagements with the government and the private sector.
With very little data on small businesses, Simodisa had their work cut out for them.
In our country, we haven't been able to map who is who in the zoo. So it's very difficult for small businesses to try go from one place to another. So Simodisa's vision is to how do we consolidate this ecosystem, this community of entrepreneurship, so that it's easy for any entrepreneur to know that this is South Africa and here are all the people to fund us. This is South Africa and here are all the people to incubate us. And be able to navigate through the space. So we do research in that regard, and then the creation and the promotion of venture capital.
She was well on her way. Her vision through her company was well received. Potential investors were looking to get involved, but the period while waiting for capital to start flowing in was the most challenging.
For me, there was a point of transition in my life when, before I joined Simodisa last year, I used to run another organization, and that transition period, you didn't have a job, or you didn't have things were not working out well. You spent a lot of your money having to pay salaries, people were taking you to the CCMA. I mean, those are the dark and hairy things about being your self-starter, running your own show, and there are times when you really don't have money to buy bread and put on the table. So people don't understand when you're in that stage. If there are 1 or 2 or 3 people that are special in my life, and those are the people that emerged when I was going through my tough times. And the people that shouldn't have been in my life, they're all gone now. Because they're the ones that would pity you, they're the ones that would not take your calls, they're the ones that would not be supportive and understanding. If you can't give a gift because you don't have the money, you're wondering, how am I going to eat tomorrow? Now I must go buy a very expensive gift for somebody else's child. I can't do that, I have to think for tomorrow. They don't understand. They think that you're being a bad friend, a lousy friend. When you forget people's birthdays, they think, you have a lot going in your life, and you need people that understand and appreciate your journey. So I have a few good people in my life that I nurture right now, and I've been able to find that balance. And I needed to go through that. There's about 6 months of last year when things were just bad.
Her best friend and confidant, Ramona Casavan, reflect on this period with her.
She had been in a very strange place, not personally, and on a professional level. And I think it opened her eyes up a lot to people who are not there. And for me, my loyalty is my loyalty. If I love you and I care about you and you add value to my life and positive influence, I will go out of my way to be there for you. And I'd say for me, it was that, like seeing her go through those painful moments and encouraging her to be who she needs to be true to people, and to speak her truth and to stand up for herself, because I saw such great potential, and watch her grow from that experience, because it almost felt like our worlds were falling apart. And I think that's the lesson. You almost have to reach zero to start again.
Absolutely true. After the break, Matsidiso shares her experiences at the World Economic Forum in Davos with us. Stay right here.
A romantic adventure film starring Ivan Buerta and Donnelly Roberts. The story begins in the beautiful vineyards of Paarl in the Western Cape. The adventure takes off when the characters find themselves on the tropical island of Love, Mauritius.
Josephine's work is more interesting and distinguishable. She visits war-stricken zone countries to tell the story of the damage war often leaves behind.
This particular exhibition's case, places that are named after conflict or disaster or war or reconciliation.
And basically what it is it's a collection of the best animated short films from around the world this year. And the idea is to inspire animators and directors with this exciting content. And so that's been offered to us as a cinema, and we're very excited to be screening the animated show of shows here in South Africa.
Join Refulo Mulwa for that 1-hour weekly dose of arts and entertainment news every Friday at 9 p.m. on Trends.
Welcome back. After she took us down memory lane with her childhood memories and humble beginnings in the business realm, Matsidiso told us why she made the development of small businesses her own business. Simodisa has created a name for herself as a young female entrepreneur. Her passion for economic development has made her dedicate her knowledge and skill to uplifting young, innovative entrepreneurs. Through her company, she has created projects that has nurtured innovation.
Kasi to Kasi is, it's a project that I introduced for Simodisa because Kasi Go Digital. We believe that a lot of the township entrepreneurs, they are not, I attended a conference in Switzerland last week. And they were talking about the fourth industrial revolution and how it's underpinned by technology. So the first industrial revolution was, locomotives. How do you get people from one place to another? Second industrial was electrification. Third industrial revolution was the internet. And then now the fourth industrial revolution is technology. So in South Africa, at any point, there are a lot of people that cannot get from one place to another with ease. It's difficult. The infrastructure is not in place. In South Africa, there are a lot of people who don't have access to electricity. We had a huge challenge last year with load shedding. So we are still stuck in the first, second, and third industrial revolution. It's a function of how now do we, as South Africans, participate in the fourth industrial revolution where everything we do is underpinned by technology. So Kasi to Kasi Go Digital is a program where we go into townships and we introduce technology to township entrepreneurs and say, guys, you can't be writing down, money in, money out. There are a lot of digital software programs that you can buy and make it very easy for you to actually record your books and do your bookkeeping. Whether it's Sage Pastel, whether it's SM Easy. If you are wanting access to money and funding, there are a lot of digital tools that can help you navigate because there's something called FinFind Easy, whereby it's a website and it can help you if you're looking for 1,000 rands or to 1,000,000 rands, it can help you look at what are the options that you have. So going digital using technology is important, and the Kasi to Kasi Go Digital program is about that.
This venture introduced her to a radical young inventor, Desmond Mongwe.
The journey started in 2014 when I attended a competition of entrepreneurs who were competing in terms of sharing ideas. So Mati, at that time, she was leading an organization called SABC. So my idea happened to be the one that won the first prize. So that's where I started my journey formally to say, let me stop the corporate environment and do this full time, because they gave me an opportunity to be part of a business incubation program in Pretoria at the Innovation Hub. So that's where I met Mati before Simodisa. And in the same year, in 2014, she actually got interest in understanding how can she assist myself as an entrepreneur at that time.
We're promoting innovation in South Africa. We feel that as a nation, we need to think out of the box. As a nation, we can't all be having spaza shops and selling tomatoes in the streets. South Africa shouldn't be known as, it should be known as the hub of innovation on the continent. So what Desmond is doing is different. Nobody has done it before, and if those people have done it before, he's doing it very differently. So there is a need for what he's doing. It's very difficult because it's a concept that's never been done before. So the uptake might be challenging because people are like, what is this? We've never come across this. But we have to support him through that process. So all the competitions that he's won, the incubation that he's had, it helps because then it's now, it carries him through. He's fortunate. There are a lot more entrepreneurs that don't have the support that Desmond has. But the work that Simodisa does is essentially ensuring that we capture more Desmonds.
My new project is called More Wallet. And what we do is we developed a solution that will allow customers in township to be able to redeem vouchers and coupons at tech shops or mini supermarkets that are located in that environment. I'm sure you will be familiar that if you go to Pick n Pay ShopRite to buy, let's say, Millie Meal, you are likely to get a discount of 2 rand or 5 rand. But the same product that you buy at tech shop, you'll never get that discount. Everyone have bought breads since they've been born in township, they've never received any discount from Albany or Sasco or wherever. So this is a platform that allows those brands to be able to give an incentive to those people who are in need.
His business mentor prides herself in the progress that Desmond has made.
Desmond for me is he's a good success story of where I have my career and where I've been able to, in the organizations I'm in, help small businesses. I mean, we found Desmond during one of our first township startup weekends. So he then won that particular competition, and it meant that we were able to get him to be incubated by the Innovation Hub. So that connecting him, letting him win, connecting him to an incubator, and then he was still working for a company. He quit his job because he now won this big competition for his business. Quit his job and now started focusing on his business, growing his business. He was being incubated. And if you had to look at Desmond when we met him at that particular weekend to Desmond now, he's been incubated by various incubators. He's been in various competitions where he's won money, he's won business development support. So it's kind of a roll-on effect. We've been able to, Desmond comes to me if he needs, Matsi, I need to speak with somebody at this particular place. I will open those doors. If somebody's saying we're looking for an entrepreneur that we want to represent our country in Turkey during the G20 conference, Desmond comes to mind. I introduce them, and Desmond then gets to go to Turkey to be an entrepreneur. Some of the judging, competitions that I've been at, when Desmond is there, I know him because I know him when he started. I'll obviously kind of push him forward because he's on a journey.
Matsidiso's keen interest in growing small businesses through the encouragement to make use of technology has been recognized globally. That's why she was awarded the title of Global Shaper in 2015. This scored her an invite to this year's World Economic Forum.
I'm a global shaper. So global shapers are young people of the World Economic Forum community. And they essentially are between the ages of 20 and 30. And it's young leaders that are doing well in their own spaces. It's young people that have excelled, that have overly achieved, and have also made impact in their spaces. The most important thing to be a global shaper is that you have to have shown that you've gone beyond yourself and you've actually impacted your greater community. So our task as a hub, we kind of belong to global hubs. There's a Soweto hub, which is the hub that I founded. There's Johannesburg, Cape Town, Durban, Stellenbosch. And then globally, there is New York, there is Venezuela, there is, so there are little hubs everywhere. It's about 5,000 of us global shapers. And every one of us, we are young people, passionate about something, and also we are leaders in our own spaces. So you meet, some of them are celebrities. You found global shapers that are, like when we were in Davos, one of the top 50 global shapers that was with us, she's a princess from Doha in Qatar. So she's royalty. So they're all different kinds, different types of people. But that platform is an equalizer because we're all there because we've achieved. We're all there because there's a level of leadership that we've been able to do, and also we've contributed towards making our environment better.
So I really think that education has to be revisited, and it's an integral part of teaching young people skills of the future.
What I shared is the South Africa narrative, that I'm a young woman leader from South Africa. I'm capable, I'm competent, I can engage at a global stage. I shared my stories of where I come from, the work that I do, and I represented the entrepreneurs that I work with.
Call her mentor, visionary, go-getter, globetrotter or nurturer. Matsidiso is certainly comfortable in her own skin. She is pursuing her purpose, and the world has certainly taken notice. Perhaps you are also making a difference in the corner of your world. Please do share with us. Our contact details are at the bottom of your screen. Together, we can make our continent a better place for all who reside in it. Thank you so much for watching. Until next week, it's a goodbye for now.